I want to start with, first of all, tell us, Joe, about what you guys are doing, your platform, because you do a lot of different things, but you said the last few years you've really been thinking about technology and what's needed, especially when it comes to, it sounds like, resorts and hospitality.
Yeah, so we're resort operators from heart. That's kind of our background, where we come from. We focus on the experience, the process, and
Mountain Creek in Vernon, New
Mountain
Jersey,
Creek,
American
Big
Dream.
Snow, American Dream, yes. And we, I spent a long time actually in Lean Six Sigma, designing learning areas to try to get more people their first time to come back a second and third time across the industry. And
so Jack Welch of you.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, variations evil. Love all these Jack Welch quotes. And love Lean Six Sigma. But what I found is working with some of the greatest brands around the world, trying to improve the guest experience. Technology was the thing they were missing. And you hear it time and time again. Legacy platforms been around for 20, 30 years, aren't evolving to the guest experience that people want today. And ski resorts are complicated, so it's taken a while to get it dialed in.
Doug, so come on in on the conversation. Tell us how you got together with Joe and his team, and what were you guys looking to do at your resort?
Yeah, thanks. So Joe and I've known Joe for a bunch of years. He's been well known in the industry and definitely always kind of on the forefront, looking for what's new and what the opportunity is. And we were really looking to up-level our guest experience. And the mountain speaks for itself. It is world-class. The terrain is amazing. And we really wanted a platform that could help us meet the guest where they are and improve the technology side of this to make it easier for the guests. And what Joe had going on with SnowCloud seemed like right up our alley. So it's been a great process so far.
Yeah, talk a little bit, Doug, just about, exactly what part of the guest experience maybe it was falling flat behind, this partnership, and really what, maybe an example of, something that has changed now and enhanced the guest experience.
Yeah, that's a great question, because our guest experience has always been a priority of ours. No matter what we do, we're always looking to make it easier, make it more fun, just not inhibit the guest experience in any way through a negative experience. And that platform, the platform we had, it was great. It did it worked really well for us for a lot of years. We were just looking for something different. And an example of what SnowCloud allows us to do is more of what guests expect in the world these days. Guests can buy and purchase for themselves on a mobile phone. We can sell on a mobile phone anywhere they are. We're not tied to a PC, to a POS, a point of sale in an office anymore. Now it's like we're unleashed and we can go wherever and sell anything we offer almost. So yeah, it's been great.
All right. So, Joe, come back in on here and talk to us about kind of basic raw technology, and then there's the AI layer.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious where AI plays into all of this.
Yeah, AI, I think because we're built on modern platforms, right? It's cloud-based on Azure. It's built in modern styles. We can put LLM models into it, all different types of models. I think what we're going to see for us at SnowCloud and working with our resort partners like Jackson Hole, who've been fantastic, is analytics, the things they can learn about their business. Are they pricing things the right way? Do they have the right capacities? Are things flowing the right way? Staffing, this is one that I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
We can now predict, years ago, I actually had a project. I worked for a big publicly traded ski company, and they gave me 6 months with MIT professors to figure out how to predict skier visits ahead of time using all the data we had. AI now can crunch numbers and do all types of analysis in ways that we can never, right? Multiple regression models, and give you predictive analysis, which then can tie back to staffing levels to make sure that when you're peak, you have the right people, the right service. So it goes as deep as planning and analytics for that piece, but also for the guest. It's hard to book a ski vacation. It's not like, people, they show up, they need skis. What type of skis? Do you need lessons? Do your kids need to be in a program? How many days are you going to ski? You're going to be there for 5 days. You're going to ski 3 of those 5 days or 4 of the 5 days. The products can be a bit intimidating. So it's really great to be able to have, in the future, be able to give people the option to, hey, we can customize this exactly to what you need. Because I think AI allows us to make it extremely customizable for a much bigger group of people.
So Doug, come on back, because I'm just curious, what has been the biggest change? You mentioned about and people can be anywhere and they can certainly access your resort. We kind of tease that you can run a ski resort entirely by phone. Is that really true?
It looks like it's heading in that direction. It's, being able to do that, meet the guests where they are, is huge. Also, I think being able to sell whatever they want to purchase, because in the past we've had multiple platforms because the ski industry is such a complex business. We sell so many different things: services, food and beverage, lessons, lift tickets, and all that. So, being able to sell it all on one platform at one time and make it easy for the guests, so the guests can get out and ski or mountain bike or whatever their adventure is. They can get out there more quickly and they're not held back because of our technology. It's a big unlock.
Yeah, like a real life example of what that might look like is in the past, if you had a service issue, you needed to buy something extra, you'd have to go to a spot with a computer connected to the wall to do that. Now, in theory, a server at Jackson Hole at their restaurant on the mountain could book your kids into ski school the next day. And we're not quite there yet, but the technology's there. So we're opening up the door that every person at the resort can actually enable the guests to do whatever they want and eventually allow the guests to do that much easier themselves as well.
I have to just say, Doug, I'm almost kind of blown away when you said like people couldn't do things mobile before. Like, why was it so difficult? Because I just think about everything that I can do on my phone. I mean, as much as I kind of hate it sometimes, I'm amazed at the amount of things. Why weren't you guys like on mobile before?
I think that's probably Joe probably has a good answer for this one, but I'll say from my perspective, we are so complex that there's no plug and play software for the whole business. And, so we were really limited by the technology that was available to us.
So you couldn't call up Salesforce and say, hey, I understand you do some really good software. Well, but no, like you're serious. Like this is an industry that was underserved.
Big time. It's 30-year-old software that's on-prem servers. And what's interesting is a lot of resorts on-premise, and they were trying to get, people are trying to get Toast to make them rental software, and people trying to get Square. A lot of resorts are using Square, and it's just not native to what the resort needs as a platform. So it was a missed opportunity, and it's something that
interesting.
It's the story of old legacy platform going to modern stuff.
Joe, we were talking with John Authors just a bit ago about, the spend that companies have to face when they're implementing AI. And, what is the biggest challenge for implementing AI for a business at this scale? Is it, needing to pay for computing capacity? Is it training your employees to learn how to use this?
We're essentially a bootstrap tech company, right? So as a tech CEO who isn't a bootstrap tech company, it's a moment of, can this make our life more efficient, or is it just going to cost us a ton of money to experiment?
Right.
And would I rather let the big players, like I love watching you on Bloomberg talk about this, and say, okay, they went all in and now they're throttling back and thinking, thankfully I didn't have to make that mistake.
Right.
So it's trying to find the right use at the right time to make sure that we don't overspend. And ROI is important to us.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we're spending our AI tokens in the right spot.
Doug, how did you think about the CapEx spend here, right? Like you've got, money you've got to allocate to different things. You got to make sure that the facilities are up to snuff and that you keep your customers happy. How did you think about, justifying where you were going to do this tech spend?
Yeah, I think that's a great question too. And that was a lot of discussions, a lot of conversations about, investing in this or not. We do feel there's a return in this because of the guest experience and how important that is to us. So if we up level that guest experience, people are going to have a better time. They're going to come back to us. But yeah, we're constantly looking at where to put those dollars. But this was an easy one.
All right. Just to wrap up, we've got about a minute or so. Real quickly, we've had a heat wave, so we haven't really been talking about or thinking about snow, and we know that is part of your world. But you guys are open around seasons. Joe, let me first just ask you. What is it? What are the trends that you're seeing with consumers, kind of year round when it's not connected to snow? Yeah.
So for us, other businesses like Mountain Creek and obviously Big Snow, we're year-round snow. So if it's hot here in New York, it's a good spot to get away. But Mountain Creek, we have a water park. But the time I've spent out with Jackson Hole, and Doug can talk about this more, but if you're in the New York area and you want to get away, Doug will probably tell you his temperature the last week, but it definitely wasn't 100. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, exactly. Doug, come on in. Got about 30 seconds for you. You are around the year. People can go to your resort. What are you seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing a lot of people here right now, and the weather is amazing. I've heard about the heat wave back east, and we have a ton to do here between biking and hiking and scenic rides. We're on the border of Grand Teton National Park. Ton of activity here, and it's a beautiful must-see location in the summertime as well as winter.